Welcome to episode 2 of the Hunziker Team podcast. This is me and Randy's way of getting out content to our beloved fans, all 5 of them, and bringing to you some content in hopes that we come to the top of your mind when you're thinking about real estate. Today, we wanted to start with a spotlight for Superheroes for Hope. Superheroes for Hope is a charity here in Gainesville that is close, near and dear to our hearts. One of our best friends created it and runs it. And Randy, do you want to talk a little bit about Superheroes for Hope?
Sure. So let's throw out the name. It's James Coates. And James came up with the idea of Superheroes for Hope because when he was young, he had childhood health issues. And so his concept is he wants to do the superhero type theme, which today is Star Wars, it's Batman, those kind of things. And he wanted to have real costumes that he could go to certain places like a hospital with these characters dressed up and give kids an opportunity to see them and have pictures with them, that kind of thing. So
right.
That's what he started, and I got involved with it, and he asked both of us to sit on the board. So that's part of the reason why we're so excited about it.
Gotcha. So how long have you been involved with Superheroes for Hope?
It's been about 3 years.
Cool. Very, very nice. So the next part that we wanted to talk about was a little update about the real estate market. We'll just give a quick synopsis of what we have been seeing around town and in Gainesville. Any initial thoughts over what's happened over the past week or so?
Yeah, so what we continue to see is interest rates being high. And it's killing the buyers. It's making buyers back out of the market right now. Some of our listings have been on the market for way longer than they typically would be. And we know some of the impact is the higher interest rates, buyers saying to themselves, I can't afford the home I thought I could. I can't do it now. So those have been really, really challenging for the market.
Gotcha. So the big question that I wanted to bring up today, and the purpose of this video, is preparing your house to sell, right? There's a lot of things that people do. I wanted to ask you how. How does one, especially in the market that we're in, prepare their own house to sell?
So I deal with mainly people selling their home, sellers. And there's probably 3 things that I would bring up every single time I talk to someone who's saying, Randy, is now the time to put it on the market? And if it is, what do I do? So we tell everybody, of course now's the time to put it on the market because we don't know what's going to happen in 3 to 6 months. And the market may not be perfect right now, but we know what it is right now. So uncertainty causes some concern for me for people to wait to put it on the market. As far as getting the house ready, 3 things. Number 1, our main goal, we want the house to look big and be bright. So the first thing I tell everybody is, when you're getting your house ready, make sure your windows are clean, make sure your blinds are pulled back, and if possible, remove some of the furniture that may make the house feel smaller. And best case scenario, in my opinion, get the furniture out. There are some people who like to have some furniture in there and kind of give you a feel for what the room would look like. I'm not a big proponent of that. I like bright and big. That's my first message. Number 2 is curb appeal. Everyone talks about what are the 3 most important things to real estate, and we say location, location, and location. However, we want the curb appeal to stand out. So I will tell sellers, look at your front yard. Does the grass need cut? Do you need more mulch? Do you need to clean the outside of your house? That curb appeal, we know from all of the studies, is the first thing that the potential buyer is going to see in relationship to the neighborhood. Does yours stand out? Is yours the one that looks beautiful? Or is yours the one the neighbors go, oh, I can't wait till that one leaves? So that's number 1, is that curb appeal. Actually, that's number 2. Number 3, declutter. So this is the one that is the most important to me, and that is when a buyer walks through your front door, they should be able to look at it and say, wow, the house looks nice. The rooms are clean. There's not clutter around. And the reason why I tell my sellers this is buyers are very observant. If you have cobwebs in the corner of your ceiling, they'll notice it. If you have dirt in certain places, they'll notice it. When they're looking at your big appliances, if they're not clean, they're going to notice it. And what do you think the message is? When they see those things, they're saying, if they're not going to keep that stuff clean, then are they taking care of the rest of the property? And I want my sellers to be able to look at everybody and go, my house is clean, it's decluttered, and you can trust that I'm taking care of the big ticket items with our house. So that's what I would say. Those are the three. Bright and big, curb appeal, and make sure you declutter it. Those are the three main things I would say.
Cool. So I'll ask another question. When people are getting their house ready to sell, a lot of times people are looking at, should I update? Should I put in a new kitchen? Should I put in a new bathroom? Do you think that there is a lot of value to assessing the big ticket items if you do have cash? A lot of times, and there are certain situations in which if you don't have the cash or that you're selling because you need money, those things may not be an option. But when you're preparing to sell, if you do have cash, sometimes there may be more goodies later on in the process of selling if you were to update certain things. How does one assess whether or not they should upgrade some things before putting on their house on the market?
That's a good question, and I've had a lot of sellers ask me that question. The first thing I would say is talk to a realtor who does listings, because we would come in and take a look at the things that they're considering updating, and we can do an analysis about whether that potential increase in value of it will have an impact on the sale price. And rather than spend money on certain things that may not have a big impact on the value to increasing the price, hey, talk to us. Let's walk through that, and we can look at, does it make sense to paint walls? Does it make sense to update your kitchen? Does it make sense to put new appliances in? All those things takes a little bit of an analysis, and it can really help if you get a realtor in there who knows what they're doing and guide you so you don't spend where you don't need to spend. And if it's necessary, we can even talk about that, because we have vendors who could help them, and we may be able to help them through that process too.
That's good insight. And the last thing that I think I'll add to is people a lot of times get rushed in real estate, whether it's on the buying side or the selling side. And I think one of the parts that I would advocate most for is proactiveness. If you are thinking about selling, and I mean, if you're looking on Zillow and you're looking at another house and you're going, it would be really cool if we lived there in a year, maybe 2 years. I don't think there's too long of a time or to start that process. Reaching out to a realtor, getting an idea about the market value, and in certain situations when you do have cash or the ability to renovate, knowing that each house may not be your forever home. If you reach out to a realtor and are asking them about what they should do, what are what trends are good, those things are all things that can add value to, if it is a forever home and you end up having to sell it, at least having some insight as to what was going on in the market, or, for example, what trends are popular at the time, I think would bode very, very well for people later down the line in which they may not have expected to sell. So I think the short way to say that is be proactive. And if you're thinking about selling, or if there is ever a chance that you could sell, before you upgrade or before you do anything else, talk to a realtor, get an idea of the market value, and look at what you have to spend so that you're using your money on the highest and best situation.
Yeah, I think that plays in well to what I originally said about getting a realtor in there and evaluating your property, and certainly being proactive now, even if you think it might be a year out. Start looking, start evaluating. Yes, does it make sense to make those changes? Because as you know, in today's market, if you do have to make major renovations, we're all stuck in that post-COVID analysis of, Are the supplies available? Are there workers available? So that is something to consider if you're planning on making some changes to your house and you're thinking about down the line, when are we going to sell and what do we start doing then? So certainly proactivity is an important step to that. And I never think it's too early to talk to a realtor, personally. And during that time period, even if it's a year out, we can be giving you great information that might steer you in a certain direction or just keep you comfortable during the market trends, and are always happening. So I think it would be great for someone to get a hold of a realtor right away.
That's going to conclude episode 2 of the Hunziker Team podcast.
Yay.
Thank you guys for tuning in. I think we're doing a little bit better job this week in our second episode. We really, really appreciate all of the support that we've gotten so far through this, and we look forward to seeing you guys next week.
I enjoyed spending time with you. Great. If you need anything, real estate, get a hold of us.
Click the link below. Have a good one, guys.
Thanks.
Bye.